Hi there, I'm Alison. I don't have a fancy camera, I don't have a fancy stand, and this is the first time I've ever made a YouTube video, so please be gentle with me as I show you through an album that I made over the weekend. The album that I've made, I took inspiration from Sharon at sharonscrappyspace.com, and I'm really pleased with it, and I think other people might find it useful to see, so I'll take you through it and I'll tell you how I put the album together and a bit more about it as we go through. The basic album's really easy. There's lots of options to add things into it, so you can add in secret journaling, lots of photographs, and it's great for bulky projects because the spine on it is 1 inch thick. This particular album is for a friend who's leaving. She's heading back to the UK, so she's leaving Singapore, and I thought it'd be nice to do a Chinese themed photo album. The main colours of this are red, black and gold, and I've added some photos in because she recently lost a camera, so there's a lot of things that she's now not got photographs of anymore, despite the fact that she's been here 3 years. On the side of the album I've added some gold braid, and on the front of the album there's a butterfly which I've embellished with Swarovski crystals and some scrap from some peel-offs which I thought I would never ever get to use. So I'll just show you that stamp because it's so useful. It's one of my absolute favourites, and it's made by Woodware. There's 3 in the set, and this set looks nothing when you've stamped it, but if you colour it in with some pro markers, I used the Cardinal Red and the Warm Grey 5 to colour in the red and the grey bits of it. And then I used some of the waste from this old peel-off sheet, the circles there, which I really thought I would never use, but at the same time I like to try and get as much out of my craft supplies as possible. So I also used some of this, which I've actually had in my stash for years. But it was quite good because I've used the peel-offs here, and the 2 different types of peel-offs made it contrast quite nicely. There's a Chinese knot on here, and it unfastens with some velvet ribbon. My first page in the album is slightly different to Sharon's because I like to make it stronger, so I've got another sheet of cardstock on the inside which is 6 by 9, which gives me a half page there as well. So I've got a nice place there for a big photograph, and then some metal charms and the gold Chinese braid, which is absolutely everywhere in this album. On the little half page here I've got a small photo, and I've used the 2 different pattern papers here, the top one being the DCWV a la creme collection. It's got a black background and a creamy coloured polka dot, and the bottom one here, this one is from the old 7 Gypsies Zanzibar collection, which has been hanging around in my stash for a very long time, so it was good to get a chance to use it up. The second page, now you could here put in a flap or an accordion, but I chose not to because the album was going to be quite thick anyway. Again, I've got more of the braid here and a bit more pattern paper, and a little butterfly charm which I thought was quite pretty on the bottom, just to fill in that space there. On the other side of this, again, you could put more things in there. I just chose to put a photograph in because I didn't really want to overcomplicate it, and I thought that with all the gold and the bling going on, it would probably be a bit much if I added too much more into it. The centre of the book, I've used Sharon's idea absolutely as she instructs in her video. I've done another blingy butterfly in the middle, which looks quite impressive when you actually see it. I don't know how it picks up on camera, but it is really very glittery. And I made some tags so that we can add some good wishes from myself and some of the other girls. On this I've used the Martha Stewart punch, and I've punched 2 of the butterflies in that and left space for a good luck message on the back. And this here is the American Crafts Knockouts punch. The one with the scallops and the circles is one I think I'm going to use an awful lot. Underneath here there's 2 more layers. I cut this out with my puzzles, but you could just use lettering if you haven't got one, or just put pictures on, or something, you know, something to fit in with your theme. On the next page I've got some lines and a picture of the beach, a couple more butterflies, and on the inside of both of the spines I've added some more gold braid, which just frames that centre part quite nicely. Over the page, just photographs and a bit more braid. And finally on the back page I've got the small page again like we had at the front, but instead of sticking this to the back cover I stuck this to the other side of that page. So same size piece of cardstock, but just a slightly different slightly different way on, but you could have stuck it on the back page just the same. Then on this page I've just added a little butterfly. The reason I didn't stick it to the back page and I stuck it to this one was because I didn't want to make it any more bulky, and it seemed to lay better if I did it that way. Finally I've got Buddha on the inside because Buddha's pretty big with my friend Lynn, and this is just Buddha from one of the Chinese temples, and that sits in there. So I hope you enjoyed looking at my album, and I'm planning on doing a tutorial if I can manage to upload this to YouTube. And thanks for watching.